So I'm going to talk about the news again. I feel like I've done this like what 7, 8 times now in the course of my time on here. Um, but this time it looks like it actually looks like it's going to stick. It looks keyword looks like it's going to stick, and that is the news for Evil Dead 4. Now, yes, I know we're already groaning about it. It's like trying to get Evil Dead 4 off the ground is like trying to get the unedited cuts of the original trilogy, release it. But hey, we got the Snyder cut. I don't know for whatever goddamn reason. I guess people are just masochists. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about this news because again, this looks like this is all This is all actual sources. This is stuff that has been talked about already. And even Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell have come out and said stuff about this. But keep in mind, there's been stuff said before. There's been stuff said before about Evil Dead 4 by Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell. So again, take that with a grain of salt that we have all this in news, but we've kind of done this song and dance before. So Evil Dead 4, we now have a title for it, and that is Evil Dead Now. Evil Dead Now, I don't know what to make of the title. I guess it's like to talk about the state of Evil Dead, of the Evil Dead films. I guess, but here's the big thing. We will not have Bruce Campbell come back as Ash, and yep, that is, I will admit that is unfortunate that we're not getting Bruce Campbell back. But on the other hand, I really like the Evil Dead remake. I wouldn't call it a remake. It's more like it's like a lost chapter in the storyline. That's how I think, and that's how a lot of fans think as well, is that the 2013 movie is really more like a part of that continuity rather than a remake. But anyway, but on the other hand, playing, on the other end of that spectrum, you can't really have a Evil Dead movie without Ash. It's really, Bruce Campbell, that is Bruce Campbell's role 100%. So to have him not, or a someone else to play someone else, but then again, on the other hand, if they had recast Ash with somebody else, no one would go to see that movie. No self-respecting Evil Dead fan would want to go see that movie after hearing that news. That's why in the 2013 movie they decided not to have a Ash character in the film, because they didn't want, they realized, hey, we can't really have Ash without Bruce Campbell, so let's not have an Ash character in the film. Which I think is for the benefit of that film. But yeah, to outright say that this is going to be in the Evil Dead continuity and no Bruce Campbell it's disheartening. But I think, we can manage. I think, honestly, we can manage with a new group of characters. I think we can manage with, a new cast. All of that, but let's talk about the other thing that we know about the film, and that is a director that Sam Raimi handpicked. Sam Raimi straight up handpicked this guy for the film, which I was like, wow, okay. And I can't remember his name, but he directed a film called The Hole in the Ground, which I've seen on like streaming sites before, but I've never really watched. If anyone's watched Hole in the Ground, let me know if it's worth watching so I can gauge the director's gauge the director as a filmmaker before seeing this film, if it ever gets made. Because that's the thing, guys, and I talked about this earlier, is that how many times have we done this? How many times have we been, walking around in circles over and over again? How many times have we basically walked around in a circle over and over again for an Evil Dead 4 movie? Like, it's been going around, and I feel like it's like, oh, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell say they're gonna have something, have, producers and whatnot, and then it goes dead. And we come back around again in 2 years' time. It's like a cicada cycle in a way, only a little shorter, and not a cicada cycle at all. Forget that analogy. But that's the thing, is that, it's just really difficult to really get excited for this. Now, you guys know that I am and I know a lot of you guys out there are also really big Evil Dead fans as well. but like we can all agree that we've been here before. How many times have I done videos, honestly, on Evil Dead 4 movie updates and whatnot? How many times? More than I can count. So I can't put a lot of stock in this. Yes, Sam Raimi does have a director. Sam Raimi did pick producers, and Bruce Campbell is apparently helping to work on the film as a producer, I think, or at least executive producer. So we have that, but until I see a trailer, I won't feel like this is real. Like, that's my thing, and I want to get excited. And I hate that I'm not getting, and I really hate the fact that I am not getting excited. That's my big problem, is that I just don't feel excited for this. That's disheartening to hear, because Evil Dead's one of my favorite franchises, and to feel like I can't get excited for the possibility of a fourth film is it's sad. Even if and I know, but it's Sam Raimi. It came from his word of mouth. Yeah. That's been like, what, 7 times now? 7, 8 times? Like, it still shocks me that we even got the Evil Dead 2013 movie, and then followed by Ash vs. Evil Dead. Like, that still shocks me to this day, that those things were actually, made. It surprises me to this goddamn day that those type of things were made. Like, can we all agree that, the fact that we got these? Yeah. So I'm also wondering what the plot could this movie be like, or is it going to be more horror centric? Raimi didn't specify if this was going to be horror or horror comedy. I would imagine from the director that it would probably be more horror centric, and which is fine. The first Evil Dead movie wasn't really for shits and giggles either, so I would say it's probably going to lean more towards the horror instead of horror comedy, which is fine. I'm totally okay with that. I know a lot of us love the Evil Dead film, Evil Dead 2, for being this this excellent balance of horror and comedy, and probably like the pinnacle of horror comedy. Like, if you wanted to look at like what film perfectly balances it so well, Dead by Dawn. So, I don't know, I want to get excited, and there's a part of me that is, but like until I see it, until I see a trailer, it's not going to feel real to me. It's, and I know some of you guys out there are probably agreeing with me, like, yeah, let's wait until we get something more tangible than Sam Raimi talking, because as we all know, actions speak louder than words. Am I right? So that's my whole thing, is that I want to see more. I want to see more than just, Sam Raimi said this and he picked this person, but Bruce Campbell's not going to be. No, Ash is going to be in the movie. So yeah, and I'm not mad that we're not having. Keep in mind, guys, I'm not mad that we're not going to have Ash in the film. Like, you can do an Evil Dead movie without Ash. It's not going to feel right. I will say right now, it's not going to feel like a Evil Dead. It's not going to feel fully like an Evil Dead movie without that character. But you can, but there's reason to still do it. Like, that universe can still move on without him. Just don't have a character in here that is like a new character, but he has all of Ash's traits. Just commit to not having that character or that archetype in the film. Because if you do have someone who's like Ash and talks like him and has all the one-liners and the funniness and like the kind of campiness to him, but is not Ash or not even named Ash, then that's going to feel like a cop-out and feel like, then why did you get rid of Ash in the first place? Oh yeah, because you couldn't get Bruce Campbell to do the film. So that's the major thing, is that, like, you have got to commit. If you're really if you really get a chance to do this film, but you still can't do Ash or can't get Bruce Campbell to do the film, then commit. You gotta commit to not having that kind of character in there, because then it's gonna feel like you backwalked on it, and it's gonna feel really cheap in the long run. So, also, is it gonna take place in the cabin? It's another thing right there. Is it gonna take place in the cabin? Actually, real quick, I want to go back. Like, I think there could be a fun way to have Ash in here as like a cameo in this film. Like you could have them in the like find these have these characters find the Necronomicon and flip over to the Chosen One and be like, oh, that's where Ash is. He's still in the Army of Darkness timeline. There you go. Like that's all you really need to do is like, oh, Ash never came. Like you could have it that Ash didn't come back from the medieval from being stuck in the Dark Ages. So you could easily do that with this film. But I think you can carry on a film. Just you got to commit not to having an Ash type character in here. That's all I'm saying. So you guys tell me in the comments below. What do you guys think of Evil Dead now? Are you guys excited? Are you guys skeptical? Are you guys neutral? Just comment below. Let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.